On a cold, snowy night, a group of deadly prisoners are transported to a high-security Russian prison. An unnamed prisoner casually walks into the prison, takes his belongings, and goes to his cell. He tells his cellmate he will be out in 3 days and does not want to fight. The next day, while working out, he is confronted by 2 other prisoners, but they get beaten up. He is taken to the gangster boss, Chorny, an infamous arms dealer who runs the Kirov gang from the prison. The prisoner calmly says he is a hunter when asked who he is. With a smirk, Chorny asks the prisoner what he hunts, to which he says, "People like you." Chorny, clearly irritated, says the hunter is a myth and demands to know his name and who sent him. The prisoner reveals his name as Kraven, grabs a tooth off a tiger skin rug, and slashes Chorny's goons before jamming the tooth in Chorny's neck. He scales the wall and climbs on the rooftop, making his escape, dodging the bullets fired at him. He then vanishes into the snowstorm and takes off on a plane waiting for him. Rubbing off his fake tattoo, he informs that the work is done. Back at the prison, they find a dead prisoner with the same tattoo, who Kraven killed to disguise as him and get into the prison. A flashback shows 16 years ago, Sergei and his brother Dimitri are picked up from school by their father, Nikolai. Confused, Sergei asks his father what is happening as they are in the middle of their school term. Nikolai informs his sons that their mother took her own life. Sergei blames Nikolai for her death as he sent her away from home. Nikolai further informs the boys that there will be no funeral and instead, they will go hunting. In Tanzania, Calypso, a young girl, is learning to read the tarot cards with her grandmother despite her parents' disapproval. The grandmother predicts a great danger and a terrible accident as Calypso lays the cards down. The grandmother then gives her a powerful potion and tells her that whoever drinks it will be healed in an undreamed of ways. The boys, along with Nikolai and his team, are on the hunting trip. While the boys are in the tent, Nikolai and his team are by the bonfire talking about hunting Tsar, the mighty lion. Nikolai expresses his wish to kill Tsar and become a legend. On their way to the hunt the next day, they are joined by Alexei, who wishes to be a business partner with Nikolai, but Nikolai is clearly irritated and insults him. Walking behind them, Dimitri tells Sergei that he wishes father to kill Tsar and become a legend so that they do not have to come back hunting again. Sergei tells his brother that a true legend will fight fair and not with a gun. But just as they turn, they come face to face with Tsar. Sergei tells Dimitri to move behind and points the gun at Tsar. Sergei lowers his gun and locks eyes with the mighty beast, but a sudden gunshot by Nikolai wounds Tsar, making him maul Sergei and take off with him. Nearby, Calypso goes on a safari with her parents, but she is deeply lost in thoughts about what Grandma said. While they are busy taking photos, Calypso wanders off by herself and meets Tsar with Sergei. Tsar puts him down and turns Sergei, making his own blood drip on Sergei's wound. Tsar looks at Calypso as if to tell her to treat him and goes off. She makes Sergei drink the potion Grandma had given her earlier. Then, there is a magic chant and a reaction starts happening in Sergei's blood. The rescue team comes and he is treated in the hospital, but he is declared dead. Moments later, Sergei's altered DNA kicks in and he comes back to life, shocking the doctor. Nikolai brings Sergei home almost immediately after he is revived. He reads a letter his mother left him asking him not to become a man like his father. While at it, he is called by his father, who bashes him for almost getting himself and his brother killed because he was afraid. Nikolai goes on to tell him that fear will make him weak like his mother. He reveals his plan of making Dimitri go back to school in New York and Sergei staying back with his father and taking care of business with him. He then shows Sergei the prized head of Tsar on the wall, making Sergei lose his cool. He decides to run away from home and boards a ship to Russia. Sergei retreats to the woods, but he ends up in the middle of a herd of buffaloes running toward him. The animals run right past him, while one buffalo blocks Sergei from getting hit. In the woods, Sergei realizes that he is different, with heightened sight, smell, and hearing. He has become extraordinarily strong with the agility of an animal. Later, Sergei finds most of the buffaloes killed with their horns removed. He is confronted by 2 hunters who threaten Sergei to leave. He picks up a knife off the ground, throws it into the older hunter's head, and kills the other one with his bare hands, but trucks with the horns get away. Back to the present, Kraven is back from his mission. Later, some poachers are loading up the trucks with buffalo horns after killing the animals. When they move ahead, Kraven stands in the front and stops them. He gets on their truck and slaughters them, even biting one guy's nose off. The guy in the Jeep shoots at him and drives off, not realizing Kraven has his vehicle number. The guy goes to his employer, thinking Kraven was dealt with, only to find Kraven sitting in the boss's chair. Kraven has the boss's diary and gets to know of all the illegal trades that he is in. He asks the guy his name and fires a crossbow at him. Kraven strikes off his name from the diary and promises to deal with the others on the list. Calypso is now a lawyer. She learns that her close friend and colleague was murdered by guys working for Chorny. After the funeral, Kraven approaches her, revealing himself as the boy that she saved. He also informs her that he has taken care of the criminal who is behind her friend's murder. Calypso checks the news and finds out about the hunter who has been killing several criminals. The next day, Kraven and Calypso meets up and have small chats about their lives. Kraven tells Calypso how good of a lawyer she is, but some of her clients are not exactly angels. He gives her a list of names and asks for a partnership wherein she can find bad people from the inside, and he takes care of them. Calypso tells him she will think about it, and also warns him that if he goes after the names on the list, the people he loves can get hurt. Meantime, Alexei is now a gang leader, and he learns of the hunter and the list. Alexei approaches deceased Chorny's goons to get them to work with him. When they refuse, Alexei shows off his mutation, which causes his skin to harden and turn him into the rhino. Alexei's gunmen kill all but 2 of the criminals, and one of them kills the other to become Alexei's partner. Then we see Nikolai and Chorny's old goon enter a fancy restaurant where Dimitri is on the piano and singing. Nikolai offers the man to take over Chorny's business in exchange for security and distribution. The goon agrees immediately, which makes Nikolai suspicious that a deal has already been done with someone else. Nikolai uses the goon as a human shield before a shootout occurs, leaving many of Alexei and Nikolai's men dead. Nikolai calls for Dimitri, who hides whimpering under the piano, and shows his disappointment for being afraid and not being able to defend himself and his father. Alexei is given the bad news of the failed mission, but is given a pen drive that shows the face of the hunter from a CCTV footage. He gets to know that the hunter, aka Kraven, is Nikolai's son. Alexei orders his man to hire an assassin known as the Foreigner to take care of the hunter. The Foreigner has the ability to use ocular hypnosis, making it easy for him to kill anyone. Kraven later surprises Dimitri by showing up at his apartment for his birthday. The brothers have dinner together, and Dimitri expresses disappointment in himself for being weak and longs for his father's respect. Later at night, after putting drunk Dimitri to bed, Kraven tries to sleep, but cannot due to the noise around. So, he goes out and sleeps. The next morning, Kraven returns to Dimitri's apartment only to find him abducted by some goons. Kraven jumps off the apartment and chases the van on foot throughout the city, smashing his way through windows and running like a madman. He finally manages to get on top of the van and tries to smash the bulletproof window, succeeding in ripping open the window. But the driver hit another car, making him fall and lose them. Kraven goes to Calypso for help to find the man who took her brother. He gives her a description of one of the guys with a moon-shaped scar under his left eye and smokes a Turkish cigarette. Calypso promises to find him. Nikolai is later sent Dimitri's severed finger and is given 48 hours to deliver a $20 million ransom for Dimitri's return. Kraven tells him to pay them the money and get Dimitri back, but Nikolai refuses to show weakness by caving into their demands. He further adds that they will kill Dimitri whether he pays them the money or not. Later, Calypso meets up with a man who gives her info about the person she is looking for, and it's an obvious trap set by Alexei using the Foreigner to lure the hunter. Kraven reaches the location given by Calypso. He gets inside in stealth mode, getting rid of the guards on his way up to face the man who took Dimitri. But the man sends his boys out to finish him as he is expecting him. They attack him with their guns, but it's futile against him as he moves fast and finishes them. He gets hold of the man ready to drop him, asking where Dimitri is, but he sees 2 men with a rocket launcher ready to fire. He jumps off with the man, and before they get buried in the rubble, the man reveals the kidnapper as the Rhino. At the crime scene, the Foreigner is looking for clues and finds the poison dart Kraven used to kill some of the guards. Meanwhile, Alexei reveals the true identity of Sergei as Kraven the Hunter to Dimitri, telling him that his main intention was to get his brother from the apartment, but picked him up instead as Sergei wasn't there. Back at her office, Calypso gets a call from Kraven, telling her to escape the building as the Rhino will come after her. She gathers few of her stuff and goes out of the building where Kraven has sent someone to help her. She's flown to where Kraven is, and they go into the woods. Then they run into a wild cat that Kraven knew as a cub, and he wrestles with her for a bit before he and Calypso keep moving. Alexei tells Dimitri of his mutation and how he got superpower strength with the help of Dr. Miles from New York. He tells him how he was weak before, but now that he is strong, everyone fears and respects him. Alexei asks Dimitri to be his partner and take over Nikolai's business, but Dimitri declines his offer, saying he will not betray his family. Just then, his men come in and inform him the hunter is here. They get ready to face the hunter, but as the lift opens, it happens to be the Foreigner. The Foreigner has his own score to settle with the hunter as. He killed a hitman who is like a brother to him. The Foreigner tells the Rhino that the poison Kraven used in his dart is found in rosary peas, which are only grown in a specific region in Siberia, concluding that they will find the hunter there. Back at Kraven's greenhouse, Calypso finds a ton of herbs, including the rosary peas. Kraven tells her that the potion she made him drink saved his life and made him different, and he is trying to figure out how to make it for years. Calypso tells him that her grandmother died not long after the lion incident, and she is the only one who knew how to make it. Kraven then gets a call Dimitri, but Alexei takes over the phone and offers a partnership to him and Dimitri to overthrow his father and take over his business. Kraven hangs up, making Alexei go after Kraven. The foreigner comes prepared with a special toxin to take out the hunter, and as they reach Kraven's turf, some of the men spread out looking for him. Kraven also prepares himself with his weapons as he knows they are coming for him. The wildcat suddenly attacks some of Alexei's men, and during the chaos, Dimitri makes a run towards the woods. Kraven finishes off all the men in the woods using traps and knives, echoing their screams in the woods. But Alexei does not give up and calls in the chopper to bomb and flush him out. He runs as fast as he can for a cover, but is hit with the toxic dart. It causes Kraven to hallucinate of spiders around him. The foreigner shows himself and tells Kraven that the hallucination is just the beginning and his body organs will stop functioning and ultimately die. He hits him with 2 more darts and strikes him repeatedly. As he prepares to execute Kraven, he tells Alexei's men to find Dimitri while he kills Kraven. As he begins a countdown, an arrow pierces through the foreigner's eye, killing him. Calypso then uses her own potion to heal Kraven and tells him not to make her regret using the potion on him again. Alexei's men find Dimitri and get him back to their boss. He is also informed that the foreigner has killed Kraven, making Alexei have a triumph laugh. As the convoys are on the way out, Alexei sees a buffalo herd heading towards them. He transforms into the rhino while Dimitri straps himself for the stampede. The buffaloes ramp into the trucks and cars, hurling them around and causing chaos. The rhino gets out of the car and faces Kraven. The two engage in a showdown in the middle of the stampede, with Kraven unable to do much damage to the rhino's impenetrable skin and strength. Even knives seem useless on the rhino. After an intense fight, the rhino holds him up by the neck. Kraven spots the entry wound where Alexei injects the serum, and Kraven impales an iron rod, weakening Alexei. Kraven then ties him up with a wire and flings it on one of the buffaloes, dragging him into the stampede, causing him to get trampled. Dimitri wants to kill Alexei, but Kraven stops him, not wanting his brother to dirty his hands, and tells him that Alexei will die. Kraven later confronts Nikolai in the woods. Turns out, Nikolai is the one who sent footage of Kraven escaping prison and revealing the identity to Alexei. This was all a trap set by Nikolai to bait Kraven into killing Alexei, as he is not strong enough to kill the rhino. Nikolai knew that Kraven would kill anyone to get Dimitri back. Kraven tells Nikolai that he could have killed him years ago, but did not, as he is his father. He gets up to leave, ignoring his father's plea to join him. Nikolai then sees a bear coming towards him, but finds no bullet in his gun. The bear mauls him to death, and Kraven walks off, dropping the bullets he took out of the guns. Kraven meets Dimitri on his birthday after a year. Dimitri tells him about a doctor in New York who is treating him and changing his life. They have a disagreement about the paths their lives are taking, with Dimitri reminding Kraven about how their father died and that Kraven is just like their father or worse, another man hunting for a trophy. Dimitri starts to walk away, and Kraven follows him and grabs his shoulder, but when Dimitri turns around, he turns into his brother. Dimitri now has the ability to shapeshift, making him the chameleon, all thanks to Dr. Miles from New York. Before parting ways, Dimitri tells Kraven to go home and that Nikolai has left something for him. Kraven goes home and finds a package and a letter from Nikolai. The note reiterates that Kraven is just like Nikolai, a hunter. Kraven then pulls out the gift, a vest made with Zaire the lion's pelt. Kraven puts it on and stares at himself in the mirror.